Hey, everybody, Jim Cummings here. And if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks, everybody, for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris, sitting here with the legend, as always, Jim Cummings. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, it's another day in paradise, and here we are again. Stay tuned.
That's right. That's right. And today we have a literal Disney legend joining us, Mr. Don Hahn. Thank you so much for joining us.
Please. Thank you. Sit down, everyone. Thank you.
Oof. How are you doing today?
We are good.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
You're looking fantastic.
Thank you. Back at you.
Smiling and grooving. It's a beautiful thing. I think the last time that we ran into each other was over on the lot.
Yeah.
And we were there celebrating some old movie. I think something to do with.
Yeah. I mean, we'll show up anytime there's something.
Well,
on the
that's
lot.
true.
We'll be there if there's food.
Yes, and there was, and we did.
Yeah, we're lucky that that Disney thing is something we both stumbled into with great fortune, and not sometimes financial, but mostly emotional and personal and mental and all those good things.
I agree.
And friendships. So
no, I do agree. And along with yourself, one of the friendships that I've cherished are the Sherman brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you met them and worked with them and just marveled at them?
Richard, I didn't know Robert that well. He was pretty much gone by the time I came around. But Richard, has only been gone recently. And he's so damn prolific and wrote so many things up until his 90s and beyond.
Yes, unbelievable.
And not just... It wasn't just courtesy songs. Mm-hmm. He was writing things like A Kiss Goodnight for Main Street at Disneyland after the fireworks show, like these beautiful ballads and stuff. And I did a PBS special about Richard, actually, which I should send it to you. Because I kept seeing Richard do shows at D23 or these fan events.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I thought, why isn't somebody filming this?
That's where I last saw him.
Yeah, it's going to evaporate if we don't. And so with great foolishness, I called him up and said, Richard, if I got a soundstage like this with a piano, would you come in and sing your songbook? And he said, yeah. And so I sat down, went to his house, I sat down, we worked out what he would sing, and I filmed it. And that was 10 years ago. And so he was still very much in good voice, which he pretty much was his whole life. Mm-hmm. And man, was that a pleasure. And I brought in some singers. I brought in the Dapper Dans from Main Street, the Barbershop Quartet.
Yes.
Ashley Brown, who does Mary Poppins on Broadway. And that. So I brought in a few singers so he didn't have to sing the whole thing himself. But every once in a while I do these kind of crazy ideas because I just thought, this is going to go away if somebody doesn't capture it. Yeah. So anyway, but that's
wonderful.
A long way of saying, what an amazing guy.
Yeah, unbelievable. He's there was an intro for Carole King. She's 28 years old, has brown hair, and wrote your favorite song. And I told them, I said, well, except for the 28 years old and brown hair, and in fact the female, and your two of you wrote everybody's favorite song. Yeah. And you just want to say, and it's one of those things that everybody comes up to me and asks me, like at a Comic-Con, so you do Winnie the Pooh? Yeah. What's that like? I actually found I actually found myself going, so you wrote everybody's favorite song. What's that like?
Yeah, what does it feel like? Yeah.
Because I just got goosebumps thinking about it. There's nobody on earth who doesn't know the Sherman brothers.
To this day, you walk around the parks, the cruise ships, anything on the planet, the new Abu Dhabi Disneyland, whatever. Yeah. And you hear the Sherman brothers, and Alan Menken and others, but boy, the Sherman brothers. And they have that thing, which is so rare among songwriters, that it just gets in your head and you can't get it out.
Earworm. I one of my favorite things, I was so fortunate to work with them any number of times, but the two of them, they were sitting there and Dick was sitting down and I said, I've been meaning to tell you this, guys, for past couple recordings. I found the cure for It's a Small World. He found the cure for It's a Small World.
Yep.
I said, hey, so we needed a cure? And I said, yeah, well, you tell me. If you, because they used to make fun of it. I remember Lorenzo Music had a commercial out. I'm going to Disneyland today. Guess which ride I'm going to go and get on. And he found it. And I said, he said, please pray tell, what is the cure for It's a Small World? And I said, well, it's The Long and Winding Road by the Beatles.
Yes.
Yeah. And he goes,
I get that. Yeah.
The Beatles are the cure for the Sherman brothers.
Yeah.
I could probably live with that.
Yeah, I think it is words to live by. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was The Long and Winding Road. And I said, the long and winding road. And you get to the second line, and it's a lilting sort of thing. And, if that worms its way into your head, you don't want to kill yourself.
No, exactly so. Yeah, no, you have to use songs like that. That used to happen with Be Our Guest, when that came in. That was like...
yes.
Anyway, but happily so.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
Which was a temp melody. Alan Menken wrote that, and he said, I'll come up with the final melody, but he gave it to Howard, and Howard wrote the lyrics, and he said, okay, here it is. Bum, 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 bum. And Howard wrote the lyrics, and then he said, okay, I'm going to go back in now and write a final melody, because I don't think this one works. And he could never do it.
Well, I don't know. I thought it worked.
It works fine to this day.
Kind of, I think, it's a little late.
Yeah, it is. It is. But the Shermans, all the Winnie the Pooh songs and things like that, which you sang at Richard's Life Celebration was fantastic.
Yeah.
You're an amazing. You're like an amazing musician that people must know about you, but if they don't, how did you grow up in a musical family or?
Oh no. No. I was the weirdo. Believe me. Yeah. We're all very blue collar. Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah.
Here in Northeast Ohio. You're from a blue collar town if Bruce Springsteen writes a song named Youngstown.
Yeah.
Here we are, we're all poor as hell. We have to get to work 9 to 5 and less overtime. Yeah, you're screwed.
Wow.
If Bruce writes
somewhere along the line, you had an injection of musical talent.
Yeah. Well, I started off as more of a musician than an actor. I was in plays and stuff, the Youngstown Playhouse, but singing and playing drums was my main thing.
Yeah.
And I was the white kid in the band. Remember the Fantastic Perrells? I was a Perrell.
Yes, I do.
I was a sweet
and beautifully so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I was a Sweet Soul Spice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. Yeah.
And a Sweet Soul Spice.
Yep.
And then I finally moved to New Orleans and fell into a band that I actually made a living on, Band Fusion, a long time ago. And, played in the French Quarter and strip joints and everything. It was great.
Well, yeah. That's a part of America that's not really part of America. It's like such a different culture.
Oh, New Orleans, yeah.
Every level, musically and food-wise and everything else. So that explains a lot about who you are.
Yeah.
How about you, Don? I'm curious how you went from studying music in school to then... What's the path from music to producer? I'm
a Chicago guy. So I was born in Tinley Park, which is the south side of Chicago, kind of White Sox territory. Like the Pope, I'm just going to point out.
That's right. Yeah. In case you didn't know.
Well, I knew the conversation would revolve around to him eventually. But my folks moved out here in the 50s, 59, I think. I was born around that time. And so I grew up in Southern California. And Southern California was amazing, still is. I love LA, but it was the kind of place where there was aerospace going on. It was a big oil producer. There was entertainment going on. And I had a musical family. My mom played piano in the church and sang in the choir. And my dad was a Lutheran minister. So we kind of grew up around church music the whole time, which is pretty common. But I never wanted to go into the ministry or that kind of stuff. I don't know what I wanted to do, except I was a music major. I played cello for a long time coming up.
Oh, yeah?
But I grew up with drums, carrying sticks around like you did. And ended up going to music school, Cal State Northridge. And so I'm a music guy, and I was going to play in orchestras. And I probably still would have, or I might have been a music teacher or something like that. But I got sidetracked into this animation gig, and glad I did. And I always loved Disney.
Me too.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you did.
I mean, I grew up with Walt Disney on Sunday night on TV and going to Disneyland.
And then Zorro was afterward.
Totally so. And Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom was beforehand.
Yes.
Another lost reference, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
With Marlon Perkins.
Yes, with Marla. Here's Raoul diving in with the crocodile.
Yes.
He's no longer with the show. Yeah.
He was sending thoughts and prayers to his family.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, living in Southern California, Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, those places are really special. So I grew up loving that. And then I was 20 years old, got a summer job at Disney, working downstairs in the basement of the Ink and Paint building, delivering stuff. I was just a delivery guy. And but I was delivering things to Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston and Milt Kahl and Ken Anderson and these legends of animation. And they were generous. So I often feel like my university education was Disney.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Those are like OG, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen too much. But they were really generous and had no real reason to be generous to me, So and I was there about a year, and they needed some help up in Wooly Reitherman's office. Wooly Reitherman, who produced and directed all the movies that you and I grew up on, including Winnie the Pooh, including Jungle Book, 101 Dalmatians, great animator, legacy animator.
Really a cool show.
Nine Old Men legend. I got to work for Wooly. So I'm in his office getting him coffee, threading up his Moviola, which for you kids is a machine that plays film, and working in his office. So again, dumb luck. And that was in the 70s when CalArts was producing a lot of students. So Glenn Keane was coming into the company. Tim Burton was coming into the company. Brad Bird, Ron Clements, John Musker, all the people that you've worked with were flooding in as trainees.
That sounds like, along with you, that sounds like Mount Rushmore to me.
It is. And all those people are now the leadership of animation and have been for a while.
Oh, you bet.
And so we were the beneficiaries of the Nine Old Men kind of generation and learned literally at their feet. Eric Larson ran the training program. Frank and Ollie wrote their book, Illusion of Life. So we were there. And I feel so lucky for that.
Yeah.
What is the Nine Old Men generation?
Walt, oddly, it's a great question, called a few of his animators, 9 as it turns out, the Nine Old Men, because FDR, Roosevelt, was having battles with his Supreme Court. It happens. And he called them the Nine Old Men. So Walt thought, if FDR can have his 9 old men, and for FDR that was kind of a derogatory term, Walt jokingly called...
I didn't know that.
See? This is why I'm here.
That's right.
Walt called his supervising animators the Nine Old Men. And it was a joke. Yeah. And they all didn't take to it. That's just a term that's kind of caught on the last maybe 30 years or so, because it's a moniker we can remember. To them, it was a big organization. Everybody contributed, and there were a lot of people that weren't in that posse of Nine Old Men. But they became very publicized, I think. And the
Hole in the Wall gang.
Exactly so. That was probably the 70s, 60s, after Walt died. Walt, God bless him, never gave that much credit to anybody. And you could say the same about the Hollywood studio system. People just didn't do that until Sleeping Beauty came out. And then that book about Sleeping Beauty in 1959 started to have names of Ivan Earl and Ken Anderson and things. So, that's who the Nine Old Men are.
Interesting.
Man,
oh, man. Did you ever think that is this literally what you were aiming for as a kid?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't have I admire people that go, I always want to be an animator or something. I always loved Disney, but I was really headed for music. But ironically, it gave me a vocabulary to deal with musicians. So I've done a lot of musicals now, which you have performed on yourself. And so I had a vocabulary to musically have a conversation with Hans Zimmer or Alan Menken or whoever was doing the score. And that's a real pleasure. Those guys are
my gosh,
unbelievable. And you know that as well as I. They are of another breed.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer, it's crazy.
It is.
I don't know where that comes from. That ability to pull magic from the air. It's Quincy Jones has a quote. He said, "Well, there's only one scale, and there's only but it's what you do with it."
Yep.
And wow. And there's only 3 primary colors. Or is that right? Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm going to say it is, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So I never dreamed of being a producer or director or making films. Loved animation. But my heroes were Quincy Jones. My heroes were Jim Henson.
Oh.
People like that. Steve Martin. Weird heroes.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was not necessarily a film guy because we couldn't afford to go to the films. My dad was making $5,000 a year or something like that, and so we never went to the movies.
Shorty.
Yeah,
Just getting no.
exactly.
Yeah,
So, we just didn't go to movies.
Yeah, well, Youngstown, Ohio, same with me.
Yeah.
My dad worked in a machine shop.
Yep.
And
It's
so,
funny,
yeah.
my dad was a machinist before he went into the ministry. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there, but for the grace of God.
No joke. That's how I feel, and you may too. But I just feel really lucky, and also being there with like Glenn Keane and Tim Burton and all those guys. Nobody at the time in the 70s, 80s, 90s called it the Disney Renaissance. You just no. We were working, trying to get movies done,
getting gigs. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and eventually
going to work.
Exactly so, and eventually there was enough experience and ideas and push behind it. And the big thing that really made it go was home video in a funny way, because now all of a sudden you're going through the library fast and have to replace those titles.
Yeah.
And so that meant animation had to step up and do some things that could sit on the shelf alongside Peter Pan and Cinderella and be worthy of people wanting to buy it. And that was really a big kind of push. And again, we didn't really talk about that, but that was the business push behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the video revolution. I worked at Anaheim Hills Video Depot.
Oh.
My sister and her husband and a couple of friends of theirs started up a video chain, and it was Video Depot back then. And of course, now they're all gone. They're all, gone the way of all things.
Yeah.
But boy, it was a monster when it first hit.
Yeah, it was.
Kaboom. And I remember right from there, I was very, very, very fortunate. I got a job right away in this part of the business, and just as the business was falling out of the video business, I should say, was falling out. I got in on a couple of movies, and they sold a shit ton of things, and I went, yeah, good. So I was all for videos. I would go, yeah, please, more videos here, please. And now it's all streaming, and we each make 5 cents.
Yeah, it's hard to describe the cash cow that videos were for any studio, but especially animation.
Oh, I agree.
And the movies had to be good, but still, it was that generation of the 90s or whatever was absolutely huge. And the library to pull out things like Snow White and Pinocchio and things to put it. It was heavily debated. Roy Disney, I remember Edward Disney, our generation's Roy, really didn't like that idea. And he made kind of a deal with Michael Eisner and said, if you let me do another Fantasia, I'll let you release Snow White and Pinocchio in those movies.
Really?
And so Fantasia 2000 comes out of that handshake deal.
Wow.
Probably in a back room in Burbank somewhere. Because and I think Roy knew instinctively that you can't stop that kind of progress. It was huge. And Michael knew that Roy was responsible for bringing him into Disney and had to give Roy something in exchange. So that whole Fantasia 2000 film is the thank you to Roy for doing all that.
Do you know what specifically he was bothered by? Like, why was he adverse to it?
Here's the argument. If I let you buy Snow White, you're never going to go to the theater and watch it again. And every 7 years, they were re-releasing Snow White and Pinocchio and Peter Pan and Cinderella. So that was the cash cow. It's like there was a new generation to see those films in the theater. And if we sell them to you and you have it on your shelf, you're never going to go to the theater, which is somewhat true.
Yeah.
But you'll also watch it a million times and wear out the tape and buy another one.
Yeah.
And then we'll up the technology to CDs and DVDs and Blu-rays and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Which breeds the question, should we keep our Blu-rays or just go with streaming? I just need to know your opinion.
Well, I think you keep them.
I've heard that too.
You keep them on account of someday they'd make great coasters. If there's no other use whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what this is, don't you? It's what an academic Yeah,
well, it used to be a movie.
Your Schlitz beer.
Yeah.
Foaming over.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
Wow. I'm going to do that tonight.
Well, then I would say also there's like the aspect of them you know, they alter things. You know, so many movies are altered and times change, and, you know, what's politically correct changes, and who knows what comes in the future, you know? And then if you have that original hard copy, then it's like, okay, this is like preserved what it really was like at the time it was released.
I've heard the same, and not every movie's available all the time.
Right, exactly.
And the fees
28 days later.
Yeah,
Has never been on any single streaming service ever. Did you guys know that?
No.
28 days later has never been on a streaming service ever.
Whoa.
Wow. And then you have the whole, anyway, this is a whole another topic that we shouldn't get into because there'll be a fist fight.
Yeah.
But, you know, you sign up to a streaming service just to see one series, and then,
you
know, White Lotus is over.
Peacock
and then
got me with The Office. They re-released the extended. Yeah, they got me.
Yeah.
That's true, huh?
Oh, man, what a topic that is.
Yeah, and you have to go by, 100 turds to find one.
Yeah, which I've done, actually.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
It's not.
No.
Oh, man. So what is the driving force for you right now, these days?
Wow, you know,
Do you care anymore? Do you give a squat? You've
it's
done
all
enough.
drugs and alcohol for me.
Yeah.
No, I'm making a lot of documentaries, and so something happened in my head maybe 10 years ago, and I'm not a political animal, but it happened around the changes in the world and that kind of thing. And I thought I can use my storytelling skills to tell stories that aren't necessarily animated. I don't have any aspirations of doing live action movies. I've done some; they're fine. It's a whole nother story we can talk about. But I love making documentaries, especially about artists. So now I have a lot of documentaries on Disney Plus and PBS. Those are like the only two companies I work for, really, because I believe in them. So we just finished one about the Goofy movie called Not Just a Goof, and it's about the phenomenon that movie has become. Waking Sleeping Beauties on Disney Plus, but for PBS, I made a film about Tyrus Wong, the great art director for Bambi, and a bunch of other stuff. So I love doing that. It's also very different than animation. It's very small. There's no, it's not 600 people in 4 years. It's 6 people in 4 months. It's more contained. I feel more personal for me. I can get my hands into it.
Oh, that's good.
I really enjoy it, and I feel like I can tell stories that aren't being told. There's plenty of documentaries about sports heroes and politics and all that stuff. And
well, I enjoy Waking Sleeping Beauty was a hell of an enterprise.
Thanks, it was.
I mean, that was beautiful. Seeing all those the gang.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, whoa, you just
well, you were there.
It tugs. It tugs at my heart. It really does.
You were there in the middle of it, and I got this was like 20 years after that era. Got the feeling again, like if we don't tell this story, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
and that sounds arrogant, but I felt like, no,
it sounds accurate.
I know the story, and I also felt really lucky that people would be willing to talk to me, so I could call up Jeffrey Katzenberg or Eisner or whoever, and they, I could sit with them for 2 hours, and they would talk to me. And I felt like, for whatever reason, they're willing to do that. I need to do that. And so I have 2 hours of Roy Disney talking about his life at Disney and Katzenberg and Eisner and all those things that are not even in the movie. They're just archival. I've given them to the Disney archives. So I just felt like, again, those things evaporate too easily. And wouldn't you love to have a documentary like that about Walt Disney and Roy and that era? And there aren't any. And so anyway, so I dove in and did that a few years back, and it was
amazing.
Good.
I mean, 2 hours of Roy Disney. That's
he just opened up.
Yeah, there's not many people. Okay, there's one that can say that, and he's you. That's what a beautiful thing.
It is. It's beyond an honor, and I feel like I think partly because I'm a filmmaker, I'm an artist, I'm a producer. I'm not a threat. I'm not an executive. I'm not a reporter. So, like Jeffrey Katzenberg, who I admire, I said, well, he had a really troubled relationship with Roy, and he came out and said, yeah, I could have managed it better. I could have been deferential to Roy, but at that time in my life, I wasn't ready to do that. I mean, just really raw feelings.
Wow.
Before those stories disappear, I just want to capture those and file them away.
Wow. I have one little mini I've met Jeffrey Katzenberg any number of times, but one of them was after Lion King.
Yeah.
We were done. It was in post-production. It was done. It was ready to go. And I was unplugging my daughter's sink because she had all this hair, and she would just, and I'm in there with the plunger.
Yeah.
Doing this, and it's a Saturday morning, and the phone rings, and my eldest daughter, Olivia, answers the phone. She goes, "Hi, no, yeah, hey, Dad, it's who is it? He's a friend of yours wants to talk to you." And I said, "Well, all right, well, honey, oh, Jesus, tell him I'll call him back. Give me, can you take his name? Okay, so Jeffrey, Katz, Katzenberg. Oh, okay, K-A-T. Who is it? What's your name? Jeffrey Katzenberg. And I go, okay, Daddy's coming.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
And I swear to God, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Jeffrey, it's Saturday. What in the hell do you want?
He probably loved that.
He loved it. He did. And he was so gracious. He busted up laughing. And I was like, oh, okay, good. Because, that could have gone a whole nother way.
It could have.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you hear a lot of things about Jeffrey. And what's weird is Jeffrey's very active behind the scenes in life. Like there's a new book out about Joe Biden. It's got Jeffrey Katzenberg in it. He's moving around in the background, talking to people and whatever. Things that I certainly don't understand.
Right.
Tough
Joe
guy.
doesn't either. It's okay.
Yeah, but that's.
I'm sorry. I had to do it.
No. Listen, I'm sure he's a nice man, or was. I don't know.
Yeah.
How sad is that? But anyway, so Jeffrey's very, just really tough.
Yeah.
But just 100% on your side. And there wasn't a movie that I did that he didn't call up and say thank you, or want you to be to feel like you were successful. And but man, was he tough. We used to really prepare for his meetings, and we used to really have to push back if his ideas were funky. Because a lot of times, he was really good at.
That must have been fun.
It was great fun.
It was like, okay, who wants to take the first hit?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and sometimes he was right. Like one day, one of the story guys said, "You know what? We're singing 'Be Our Guest' to Belle's father, and I think we're singing it to the wrong guy." And Jeffrey said, "Yeah, you should be singing it to Belle, because the whole 'Be Our Guest' song was written for Maurice, and we recorded it for Maurice." That great character actor that did Maurice's voice. Anyway, so it was all storyboard and everything else. And so sometimes Jeffrey would say, yeah, we should change it. And we go, yeah, you're right. Other times he would have bad ideas, and but he would know what was broken. That was the thing. He was open to other solutions, but he had this weird sense to be able to say, oh, that sucks and it's not working yet.
Yeah, well, he knew what he knew, doesn't he?
He did.
He's good at that stuff. He's the K in SKG. I don't know if you knew that.
I have heard that. I didn't. Yeah.
That's not bad.
I don't know the other guys, but
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Oh, boy.
Sorry,
yes,
I'm cutting you off.
Young man in the front. Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off. If you have a thought, please go.
No, I need to be cut off.
Okay. I'm wondering if you can describe to our audience what exactly it means to be a producer. Like, what does the job entail? You get hired on The Lion King as a producer. What does your job entail?
So you're like a coach on a soccer team, football team. A coach, you have to pull a team together of people and then coach them and get everybody to play well together and deal with problems as they come along. And the problems in the film industry are daily. You don't get into entertainment to have a problem-free lifestyle.
That's
so
for sure.
It's really that. It's really like I was the first guy on Beauty and the Beast. I was just finishing Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Jeffrey called up and said, we want to do Beauty and the Beast. We went through a list of directors, Richard Williams, Bob Zemeckis, different. We ended up with Richard Purdom, who was great.
Really?
But then that version, we had to replace directors, and we put in Kirk Wise and Gary Trousdale.
Sure.
And when you're doing this, is this meetings like in a room? Is this phone calls? Is
meetings? It's phone calls. It's and
all of the above.
Wherever, whenever. We were putting Maleficent together, and we were considering different directors. And I was in Colorado skiing, I think, and the phone would ring, and it'd be like, some big name director on Kenneth Branagh, actually it was, on the phone, and he's pitching like what he would do with it, kind of thing, and then Tim Burton was going to do Maleficent, and so you're trying to say, okay, how can we pull this together? let's get a screenwriter and a director that can collaborate, and then start to put pieces together. And it's a sports metaphor. It's baseball. You're trying to put that team together, get a esprit de corps, and then if people don't fit or are miscast, you have to deal with that sometimes.
So what kind of creative control do you have over the project?
I would say plenty is the answer. Walt Disney never directed a film at Disney. He was a producer. I'm no Walt Disney.
Really?
Let's be clear. Yeah. There's no directed by Walt.
That didn't sound right, but I'm sure.
There's no directed by Walt
you're
Disney anywhere.
Right.
It was produced by Walt Disney. But he was all over those guys. I'm no Walt Disney, and I had great directors to work with. I worked with Kirk Wise and Gary Trousdale on Beauty and the Beast and Hunchback of Notre Dame and Atlantis, which was a great experience. Rob Minkoff, Roger Allers on Lion King.
Oh, sure.
So Richard Williams, Bob Zemeckis on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So the real secret is you get the best people you can, and then you stay out of their way and do exactly what they tell you to do. And
so do you source funding as well?
Yeah.
Bring your own?
Yeah.
I guess it's project to project.
Yes. I mean, on the documentaries, that's very much part of the job. It's not only are you making them and producing them and directing them, but you're saying, okay, this is going to be X dollars. We have to go raise this or find partners to it. At Disney, it's different because they're in the movie business. They're going to fund it, but they're only going to fund it with so much money. And we made Beauty and the Beast under pretty horrific financial controls because the stock was in the toilet and it wasn't. So the budget was tiny.
Really?
Later, when
Didn't show. But we made a lot of concessions. We things nobody will ever know. We would field up on a scene a little bit to eliminate the shadow on the floor, so we didn't have to draw it. The Beast used to have 3 stripes on his cheeks. We go like, can you get away with 1 stripe on his cheek? Oh my gosh!
So it sounds simple, but when you have to draw everything,
that's true.
So a lot of concessions. And it's painful to sit down with the directors and the art director and say, we can't afford this sequence. But the thing as a producer you want to do is give your creative people choices. It's like, here's your palette of choices. Where do you want to put your money on the screen? And there's some sequences that don't need all that money.
Wow.
So it is. You're taking a very finite amount of money and trying to just put it in places where the audience is going to see it and not waste it. And that's hard to do. But I like it. And I love the musical part of it. I've done a lot of musicals. And I love that. And the directors were always differential to me on the music side of things. And the story was collaborative. I had complete ability to weigh in on story. But with Kirk Wise and Gary Trousdale and my story group on Beauty and the Beast was Chris Sanders and Roger Allers and Brenda Chapman and Kelly Asbury and all these people.
Big kids.
Bernie Mattinson.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was my story crew. I drank a lot of coffee. That was about my job.
Oh, man.
So it's different on any movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, the story crew on Beauty was unreal. So that's where I feel like if I'm really good at my job, I've hired a lot of really good people, yourself included. And I feel like those people are going to step up and do something that I never thought of and give you performances, like Ed the Hyena that, the pitch I think was, it's like Ed McMahon. He laughs at Johnny's jokes, whether they're funny or not. Oh, that was the whole pitch. Yeah. And then we called you.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, I remember that was such an insane gig. Yeah. And I've told this so many times. And people go, no. But I did it in less than an hour.
Yeah.
And because, I showed up and I want to say Roger was there. And anyway, and we couldn't think of what to do. And I just said, well, we finally narrowed it down to the fact that he has to laugh, but it has to represent every possible nuance and every possible emotion.
Totally.
So I had to laugh like I was scared poopless.
Yeah.
I had to laugh like I was laughing occasionally.
Yes.
And one like I was afraid, one was, tepid, or one was timid.
Yeah.
One was hesitant.
Wistful.
One was recalcitrant. Wistful was that was my fave.
It's tough.
It's full of whist. And we just went down the line.
Absolutely true.
And I wish I saved that piece of paper. It was on a yellow pad.
Oh, I probably have it somewhere. It's absolutely true. And you don't know if the actor is going to be able to do all that.
Yeah.
It's funny, like James Earl Jones, nobody's better.
Forget it.
But didn't laugh a lot himself. So you couldn't do that and say, hey, James, can you give us a bunch of different laughs? Mm-hmm. He was like, why? What for? And, needed to know like why he was doing it. When he did laugh, it was this big, warm, wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. But he was an actor's actor. And so you have that. And then you have like the amazing kind of utility hitters that I'm positive we could bring you in and ask you to do anything. And we did, by the way. Anyway, but that's part of the.
Speaking of James Earl, I have to just jump in here because this is such a damn cute story. My buddy Tom Kane, the great Tom Kane, the voice guy, he tells a story. He was at Buzzy's because James, a lot of people don't know, but he had a little trouble with, dyslexia. We all do.
And he had a stutter when he was a kid.
Yeah. Now, see, how you can't, that one's hard to even believe.
Can't believe it.
But you hear it. And anyway, Tom says he went into the bathroom and he was doing something, was standing up. And there was apparently someone else in there that was sitting down. And so he says, I'm standing there and I'm doing this. And have you heard the story?
No, and I can't wait.
But he says, and I hear this voice. This is CNN. No, that's not it. This is CNN. No. This is CNN. Yes.
Oh my God.
Nailing this is CNN read.
The consummate pro while in the men's room.
Because, where else do you... Anyway.
We always had to record at Buzzy's for him.
Yeah.
And one day we were done with the session. He said, Don, I have something in the trunk I'd like to show you. It's concerning, but I went out with him.
Yeah, it was concerning.
Anyway,
it used to have a pulse.
Yeah. No. He said there was a yard sale up the street, and I bought this art, and I thought you'd like to see it. And he opened it up, and he had these really great kind of 40s, somewhat Polynesian, oceanic art kind of prints. I just love these, and I thought you'd really enjoy them, and I did. And I felt like, wow, here I am in the parking lot with James Earl Jones at Buzzy's, seeing his garage sale stuff. It was like 50 cents a piece or whatever. But the bigger thing is I thought, what the hell, if you were having a garage sale down the street and James Earl Jones walks up the driveway, so, are those for sale? Can you take 25 cents for it?
I know.
And so those are, they're real people is the thing. Angela Lansbury, all those
Mufasa or Darth Vader. I mean,
great actors.
Oh my God, yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah, and we were lucky to stumble across people like that on our movies and use them. And it's funny. There was a marketing reason, I suppose, you would go after certain people, but that was never pushed on us. Especially the Broadway musicals, we could really go after the Paige O'Hara's or Jodie Benson's or people that could deliver.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to your talents because you could come in and do anything, and you did.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I run into the princesses here and there, and it didn't occur to me until the last time. I worked with all of them. I was in their individual movies too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Lion King, there was no princesses in there. Jim, shut up. But Anika Noni Rose, Princess and the Frog,
fantastic.
And Jodie,
yep.
and I had a couple lines in this one, and a couple Aladdin. I was Russell. So I was like, oh, this is great. I get to hang with the royalty. Disney royalty.
But there's a group of you guys and girls that are kind of voiceover royalty, and I mean that in a respectful way, but I think of you and Corey Burton and Bill Farmer, just people of that generation that are so like fine-tuned with what you do with your voice in front of a microphone. Because not everybody knows that. Everybody thinks they do, think they can do an impression, but boy, how tough is that?
Boy, yeah, you're right about that. Again, I'll do Comic-Cons and people will always say, I do you. I could do you. Yeah. And I said, do you? Oh, well, please give it to me. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh, bother. and they're so damned happy.
Yeah, so
And I
earnest
said,
and sincere. Wow.
Gee,
Yeah.
ooh.
There's some that are shockingly good though.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
really-
yeah.
But
A few of them.
But most of the time, they can only do like a phrase. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like you can be the whole
Like a
character.
catchphrase.
Yeah,
I'll be
it's a
back kind of
catchphrase.
thing. Yeah.
But there is
Yeah.
some of them, because I've been at conventions with Jim,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like, whoa, like,
That's pretty darn good.
and what's your line always to them? Like, okay, stop doing that now,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
Okay, that's really good. Never
Yeah.
do that again.
Yes.
Here, take this
Yeah.
with you. You know.
Yeah, or you say kind of these, only you could do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of these left-handed compliments.
Oh God. Yeah. What was that one by? Who was it? Liza Minnelli or Judy Garland said it to Liza Minnelli because she went to a Broadway play. This is kind of an old story, but it's got to be true. And she goes, "You have to go backstage and see this person now. That was the biggest dump of I've never seen anything this bad in my entire life. I have never. This is the worst thing anyway." And they wanted to do this in front of you, and of course her mother says, "Just don't worry, honey. Just follow me." Judy Garland walks in and she goes, "Please tell me you don't do it like this every night." As if to say it was the most incredible thing in the world.
Yes.
And she goes, "Well, I like to think I do." Oh my God! Did you see that? I can't believe you did that. I can't. You just stood up and
there it was.
oh yeah, and there it was. And so she said, and every word she said was true. She couldn't believe that she did that every night. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's perspective is everything.
God bless the
Our
fans.
old friend, perspective.
Yes, yeah. I used to date him, which was weird because anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah, the fans are amazing. You must have, and I do too, great stories about the fans in terms of that 1 in a million people that come up and just talk about how movies have changed their lives that you worked on and stuff. That it's why we make them. We don't, for our audience. And man, can't beat that.
It is true. Yeah, I've got a lot of stories that put you on your knees, and I always get a kick out of it'll. And inevitably it'll be some sweet little lady or little old lady at this point, or young lady, it doesn't matter. There'll be something that, and they'll try to get an autograph from Winnie the Pooh or Tigger, and inevitably it'll be Pooh, or and they go, I can't. And I go, she wants, and her husband goes, she wants you to write her name. Okay, I'll write her name, and it'll be Mabel or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I just think of it as an honor, It
is.
Thanks for letting me into your heart. Right?
These characters mean so much to people in a way that is hard to take in.
Yeah. Yeah. But oddly enough, I can remember thinking that, if I had ever met Mel Blanc, I would have probably fell out too. Not that I'm Mel Blanc, but I'm the reasonable facsimile thereof. And I just used to think that, that he had to be having the time of his life.
Yeah. I worked with him on Roger Rabbit because he did those voices.
Yes.
And we went to his house in Beverly Hills where he recorded Noel. Was that his son's name?
Noel, yes.
Yeah,
Noel
so
Blanc.
Noel was there, and Mel was pretty old at that time.
Yeah.
And they had all kinds of backroom magic that they did, which was, they'd speed up some voices and tweak it and that, which we always did too.
Well, I think Daffy was sped up. Daffy was sped up.
And we, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but we did the same, like on Lumiere, we took Jerry Orbach and just sped it up a tiny bit to make him feel small.
Oh.
Yeah, you may want to cut that out. I don't know. But it's an age-old thing. But Mel, oh my God. What those radio era guys.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond amazing.
Yeah. And I worked with Stan Freberg for a day.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, that was great. Art Vitello, the evil genius, he brought him in on a Tasmania show. I was Taz, and and I spent the day with him, and it was just, he had a lot to say about other famous voiceover people of his era.
Yeah, it's competitive.
Ooh, yeah. And it was apparently back when there were 3 or 4 people, and most of them were Mel, and Stan was half of one of the other, and June Foray.
Yeah.
And she was officially the woman, or squirrel.
Yes.
As it were.
Beautifully so.
Yeah, and he, I really can't say it because he wasn't kind.
Yes.
But he was honest and heartfelt, and ooh. And
those guys, they were competitive. We had Chuck Jones work with us, who I admire on Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Great guy. Did a lot of designs for us and things. But he didn't necessarily want to stick around and be a part of the process in a deep way. I can't blame him. He's kind of in his life where I am in mine, which is you've made your statement. And but very critical of other people's work and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And hard to disagree with him in a lot of ways because he's the master. And he knew what he was talking about. So.
Well, you can't.
No,
you can't. I mean, you learned at his feet.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah. And there aren't, I mean, who is out there now that is filling shoes in that regard?
I don't know. It's a short list. It's a short list.
It's got to be.
But when you can find those people, like yourself, I would put you on the list for sure. When you find those people, Kat Susi, those kinds of people, they are so multi-talented and versatile that you are just so happy to find them because they'll get you to a place really quickly in terms of workshopping a reel or even scratch dialogue for a reel or whatever. There's no replacing them. There's no, it's like people are worried about AI. I don't worry about AI. It's pretty junky. But the real deal, those people are fantastic.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. What do you think about this AI thing? It's there, but is it going to be, I don't see it as the juggernaut that's going to take over like in Terminator.
No, it's I have many schools of thought, but I'm not worried about it. It's overhyped. If you use it to create images, the images are really junky and awful. Like you could never really use it to make a feature film.
Yeah, it's just a tool. Yeah.
It's a tool. I mean, I think of like the human characters in Toy Story were terrible. If you look at Toy Story and look at the little boy and the human characters, you go, oh my God, what were they thinking? But 10 years later, they were doing The Incredibles and it was fantastic. So there'll be a learning curve as a tool. You can use it for voice work. Yeah. But like, why? Is my, and it's an artist's choice. It's like you're going to pick up a paintbrush. I would rather use a paintbrush than a stick because a paintbrush has some bristles and it's made for this tool. So in some cases, AI is going to be great. And I do use it. I use it for spell check. I use it for a bunch of stuff. And different parts of it are going to mature at different rates. Different parts of it for film editing, for color timing, for a million things are going to be fantastic. We live in a fantastic era.
That's so true.
Believe me, because, as they say, all of our heroes from 100 years ago never had a hot shower. So you just think, oh my God, it's true, And so we have all these tools to use. And I think like that's how we should be looking at it as artists. You can pick up AI as a tool or not.
Yeah, well, Christopher's got a project that he's been writing for a little while now, and it's slowly coming to fruition. And you used a lot of AI for your background and for the lookbook. For the lookbook,
for the lookbook, just to
absolutely
for the lookbook and storyboards, it makes it so easy. It's like I'm just trying to convey a message, it doesn't have to look like this, but I'm trying to block out, everything to get you guys thinking about how it should look, and then pass that on to the animators. Okay, cool. We know we have a starting point.
Yeah. Good for you. I mean, that's perfect. Like I use it in my documentaries. Like if I need a still of a guy in a hospital bed, I'll just say, give me that. And it'll come up with something and I'll slug it in as a placeholder.
Yeah.
And so that kind of quick, at your fingertips library, it's like it's a fancy Google thing.
Yeah. I can't even imagine that. I know about it and I still can't.
Yeah. I actually had a funny moment. Sorry, I'm just going to interject since we're on this topic. And while I was, I had hand drawn this one of the characters in the show. And, I'm not the greatest artist, but I convey it. It just didn't really look, I didn't want to put that in the lookbook. So I type in a little prompt and I refresh it 3 times, it gives me a little character, CIA agent, who's short and stubby and blah, blah, blah. And then one image popped up and I was like, this look of this character is different from what mine is, but it actually speaks way more to his character. He should actually look like that instead of what I was trying to achieve.
And why wouldn't you use that?
And it was an interesting little moment because I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's not going to be an AI animated character, but this is a way better representation of who he embodies.
Totally so.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all a tool.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I think, it's with us to stay. And, how it deals with the job market and things like that, I don't know. But I also remember vividly when computer animation came along and everybody said, you'll never be able to do a feature in computer animation. It's never going to do what hand-drawn does. And the smart ones among us embraced it and said, you're right. It doesn't do this now, but it's going to. And they grew up with it and were able to ride that horse to its conclusion and find a way to use it eventually. And then that kind of took over the animation business. Whether that happens with AI, I don't know. There's always a fear about technology, but I wouldn't be fearful of it.
Yeah.
We're pretty powerful as human beings, and you can always unplug it.
Well, nothing comes out. I remember we were going on strike 100 years ago because of cable. Because we've got NBC, we've got ABC, we've got CBS, don't forget PBS, that juggernaut. And I was thinking, because cable was coming out, HBO, blah, blah, fill in the blank, Disney Plus. And I said, and I remember thinking, no, we have to address this. We have to do something about it because nothing comes out. I mean, they said the same thing about cars.
Yes.
Horseless carriage, so a carriage with no horse. Yeah.
That's a laugher. Yeah.
Right. Calm down, Clem.
Yes.
It's and apparently we have cars.
I have been told that, yeah.
Yeah. So, nothing comes out and then falls away.
On that note, I think that's what makes Disney such a successful and interesting company because they've been so innovative and literally developed new ways. I'm thinking of what was that thing called? The Void for Star Wars, a literal invention. They're inventing things and how they even used to animate back in the day with I'm sorry, my terminology is terrible, but the split apart frames and they shoot it from over top. Help me out here. What's that process?
The multiplane?
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's also the other thing that's happening right now is there's a huge, if you're of a certain age, a return to analog hand-done things. So my daughter, her friends, and they're in their 20s and 30s, are doing stop motion animation. They're crocheting. They're doing things that are made by hand because they've lived their whole lives on the screen, and nothing good happens on a screen. So the embrace of sports and analog lifestyle is really cool, and I think that's something that nobody's planned, but it's just starting to emerge a lot more. Travel, things where you can get out and have real experiences is still very popular as opposed to virtual goggles.
Yeah. Well, I remember for Lion King, any number of people went to Africa, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I remember going to Africa, I don't know, a few years afterward, thinking, oh my God, warthogs really do that with their butt. They really do. That's how they look.
Yeah,
It's kind of amazing, actually.
Chris Sanders, Brenda, Roger, they all went to Kenya. Went out to the Masai Mara and the Okavango Delta and all those places. And it is really in the movie. I mean, the acacia trees. The
gorge.
It's there. Rafiki's baobab tree, that kind of thing is from that research tree.
And he flies just like that. That's how they fly.
Yeah. Homework.
Yeah.
I mean, we brought in lions just down the street here to come full circle. Jim Fowler, who used to appear with Marlon Perkins on Mutual of Mars, Wild Kingdom. We called up Jim, and he brought in live lions to our animation studio so they could be 10 feet away from you. And you draw a lion differently when you're in the presence of a 700-pound thing. Yeah. And so that made a difference, the quadrupeds and the feeling of that.
Yeah.
That deep research is something that Disney's famous for, and still to this day. I mean, the Frozen guys went off to Norway, and so and certainly Moana or Lilo and Stitch. You got to immerse yourself in those worlds, and then you can tell that story.
Wow. Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah,
because you know it.
it was like Route 66 for cars, and then Bugs Life was the only downer. They just went to the parking lot of Pixar. It was just like some ants and stuff.
Bugs.
Yeah, really good movie, but bad field trip.
threw a Hershey bar on the ground.
Yeah.
And went back 20 minutes later. Look at this.
It's not disinteresting, but it's different. It's different than Norway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different than Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah, melting on a parking lot in Burbank.
It's true.
God almighty. So what is your favorite thing nowadays that inspires you? What makes you get out of bed? I mean, because you're one of those guys that's kind of done it all.
Wow, thanks.
I mean, you really, what are you going to do? Make a big movie? Kind of did that.
Well, I mean,
two.
I think it's something that maybe faces all of us is like, how do you turn a chapter? And certainly doing documentaries for the last 10 years has been fantastic for me.
Yeah.
What does it for me, what fills my bucket, as the kids say, is travel. You know, it's just to be able to get around, see what other people live like. And that kind of stuff is fantastic, because if you get to a different place, if you go to New Orleans, if you go immerse yourself in another culture, that's great. And it slows down time. You know, as you get older, time flies. So if you can travel, there's something biologically that happens to us where instead of the routine of every day where time does fly, you can be gone for a week and it seems like you're gone for a month. And so just to suspend reality and time by traveling is a happy thing. I love to paint. So I do a lot of painting. I just finished a book about Disneyland.
What's it called?
The Happiest Place on Earth. It comes out now. You can. It comes out in July for the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. And
70th. Wow.
Crazy, huh? Whew. I spent the last 3-4 years with a great Imagineer named Chris Merritt, writing a book about the history, the origin story of Disneyland. So it's all about Walt and how Disneyland came about. And it's unbelievable the stuff those guys went through, mainly because they didn't know they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth with a lot of things in life, especially when you're younger? Like all of his guys, like the guy, Bob Gurr, that designed all the vehicles at Disneyland, was 25 out of Art Center when he was doing the monorail and the Autopia cars. Tanya Norris, who did all the Haunted Mansion shopping for antiques and interiors and stuff, 25. So Walt surrounded himself with these high energy kids, I'm going to say. And then he also pulled people out of animation. Mark Davis designed a lot of Ken Anderson, Claude Coates. They're all animation superstars. And Walt said, Mark Davis, I know you've done Cruella de Vil and Madam, all these amazing things. I want you to go to Anaheim and do some Jungle Cruise gags. And they were
was Mark Henn?
Mark Davis.
Mark Davis. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like previous generation Night Old Men.
Yeah.
So a lot of those guys were really refreshed in their careers late in their lives because Walt just said, listen, I know you've never done this, but you're going to go down and do this.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It really is. It'd be like somebody came to you and just said, listen, I know you maybe have never designed an attraction before, but we're going to put a new Lion King attraction somewhere, and you're going to go design it and come up with the story and all that stuff. You would do it.
I would. In fact, I'm just saying that
yes,
maybe.
And both of us actually are available, and we could flash the number on the bottom of the screen, perhaps.
That's kind of how this happened with this podcast. I mean, Jim asked me to do this podcast. I went to school for, theater and media art technology. So I had some, camera experience and whatnot.
Yeah.
Certainly never done a podcast before. And
no.
In the last 2 years, I've learned so much.
Yeah, to which I say, who cares? And it's a great podcast.
Yeah.
Thank God you guys are doing it. I mean, like I said, it shows up in my feed all the time.
I've had a great time. I've had a great time traveling with Jim. I think.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
We've had some good times together.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Who are some of your more present company accepted? Your more interesting guests or experiences while you're on the road with this podcast?
Gosh, I don't know. Well, we just did Charlie Adler this morning. That was a revelation. Or when was that? That was last year. Anyway, it's all a blur.
No, I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and some people that you would, you just never know.
Yeah.
If they're gonna even do it.
I think the most random and cool place that we did was the Tomorrowland, the concert.
Oh,
going to that in Belgium. Are you familiar with Tomorrowland?
I was thinking of Disney.
Yeah, not the Disney Tomorrowland, but the concert.
Not the Disney Tomorrowland.
Equally as amazing.
Jim is the voice.
I'm the voice.
Jim is the voice.
I'm the guy who introduces the whole shebang From day one. From day one.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am a huge fan of that concert because it's so different than anything out there.
Boy,
and
you're
it's
not
the
kidding.
most theatrical thing on the planet.
That's what we were saying. It's very reminiscent of Disney, right?
Unbelievable.
It's like the
is.
attention to detail that they
Have
put
you
in.
been to?
I have
to
watched entire concerts online.
okay.
I haven't been, but it is amazing in terms of its theatrical and pyro and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Done.
And the little go karts that they take you around on, the golf carts. They're in character.
They're themed. They're like
themed.
everything. The garbage cans, Don. The garbage cans are in theme.
Giant mushrooms.
Those guys are insane.
It's like they literally like Jurassic Park, you know, like they spared no expense.
That's right.
Yeah,
like,
That's
really.
a good
It's
example.
like every single little detail, very reminiscent of when you're in the park at Disneyland.
Totally.
Very
like
much.
you can look down and it's like, oh, there's not a speck of gum on the ground. You know, everything is sorted in its own, very clear where to go.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the
I
VIP room where we conducted the podcast, they gave us like a little couch, you know, like a little section. They had like the best catered food there. Everybody's friendly. You know, they have monitors.
They actually had caviar.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Oh man!
And then talking to like DJs, and then like you know, nobody knows that Winnie the Pooh, the voice actor of Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, is also the voice of Tomorrowland. So it was such a shock for everybody.
Cool.
Oh yeah, they lost their minds. Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
Who? But I thought, I thought you were some old guy, and I go, you are still right. You're still correct. Don't worry.
You talk about like what lights me up these days. It's stuff like that. It's stuff where you see people doing something that's just extraordinary beyond what you would think. It used to be Burning Man years ago, and that may still be good. I don't know. But Tomorrowland concerts, unbelievable. And there's those people on the planet that just are wired differently than all of us. And then they know enough to bring in people like you and make it work. But that's so cool. I stumbled across them years ago. And I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Burning Man, that's funny. You know who goes all the time? Well, I don't know if it's been there. Bill Farmer.
I was gonna.
Can you imagine?
No, Bill.
I was
I
gonna
can't
say
either.
Jess Harnell. That would have been my guess.
Jess Harnell, that would have been.
is there all year long. Actually,
He's probably
Gosh.
But that's just
Bill Farmer. Wow.
okay.
That is funny. I'd love to see him at Burning Man.
Gosh.
Imagine running into Bill Farmer at Burning Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
And what's interesting about Billy, God, he's a good buddy of mine, and I'd say it if he was here, is he kind of sounds like Goofy anyway.
He does.
He's from Pratt, Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. And I'm thinking, wow, I know how you got this job. I can hear it.
He delivers.
He do. Yeah. And I remember meeting him for the first time, and he walked up and, hey there, how are you doing? I go, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Wayne and Rusey, it's those people you run across. But those kinds of things, like, go to Tivoli Gardens or go to any number of things. I'm not a big theme park person necessarily, but it's the things that aren't theme parks. Like, there's so many great museums and experiences now where you can go and have whether it's projection or whatever. Those are the things I love. It just makes life interesting.
Yeah. Good stuff. Where are you headed next?
Literally headed to Europe this summer for all the reasons I just talked about.
Oh, wow.
Going to Amsterdam, going to the Rijksmuseum to see some Rembrandt paintings, taking a canal cruise for the Disney Vacation Club. And this is not a plug.
Whoa.
But I do a lot of lectures because they if you're looking for like an old guy who knows a lot of Disney history, that's become our generation.
Yeah.
And proudly so. And because it used to be, you call up Frank Thomas or something. So I do a lot of Disney history talks about things, and I'm not a historian. There's some Disney historians out there that are insane.
I know.
The Hyperion Club and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I enjoy doing it, and kind of just hanging out with Disney fans. I think they're great.
Yeah, I
love,
do too.
The D23 folks. Walt Disney Family Museum folks are great. You've been up there, haven't you?
Yeah, I sure have.
What a great place that is.
I sure have. When we, let's see, was it Christopher Robin and then the movie Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
I was on a little mini circuit, mini tour to promote it, of course.
Yeah.
And it was just great. And I've said it before, I think that the Disney fans are just some of the nicest people on earth.
Really are.
They just
They really
are.
And they can be fussy sometimes, and I often agree with them when they're fussy. When they say something's broken or something's not working or whatever.
Yeah,
But by and large, I was down at Disneyland last week doing it was the beginning of the 70th anniversary of Disneyland, and we had my book there, and some of the Imagineers were talking about the new stuff they're adding at Disneyland. And so all the influencers and bloggers were there. Such great people, and so like genuinely enthusiastic about what they talk about. So that's humbling, because again, when you're working in the trenches, you're just trying to come up with something that's funny or emotional or whatever. And the fact that people appreciate it is always great.
In the trenches. That's. I remember the first time I heard anyone say that was Alan Zaslav.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, Alan Zaslav and his son Mark, the great Mark Zaslav. He was lamenting the fact that people didn't know, and it was something about computers. He was not happy about computer animated and he goes, they don't understand what it was like to us. We're down there in the trenches. We were in the trenches. And I was thinking, okay, well, sure. Because you're going, it could only have been so bad, because I would have loved to have been in a trench, coming from Youngstown, Ohio. Where's that trench?
Yeah.
Let me dive in. I'll help you.
I'd like to be
help
there.
you dig out. And so I think I was in trenches for a while.
That's so human nature, because I think we always think the previous guys had it better than we do, and the younger kids don't respect us, and I think that's always
been. It's just the way it goes.
It's the way it is. No, it's always been the way it's people have perceived life.
Yes,
but I think we're pretty damn lucky to be in the era we're in. Are there challenges? Yes. Is there stuff going on in the world? Oh my God. But that's why it's even more important to create stories and entertainment and do what we do. At least that's my argument to myself at nighttime when I've had a glass of Chardonnay.
Yes, that's true. All right. Damn, I knew I forgot something. Chardonnay, is it, Boris? Chardonnay?
You really should go into the wine business or hard liquor. But I feel there's a branding thing there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I had... what was it? I can't remember. But I had sort of an offer like that to be
really.
Yeah, and you remember that?
Yeah, they wanted to use like poo. They wanted to use poo on the label
they were going to license
something.
it. I said, well, first of all, good luck.
But
at that point, I think Disney had lost the license. But for their own image,
yes,
apparently you could still go back and
use the shepherd drawings.
I think those might be public. I don't know.
I'll look into that and call you later.
See if there's a chance we can knock a nickel.
Maybe not a winery, but you could do like floor mats for cars and things like that.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out ideas.
Bar towels. Poo.
Stop.
Hello.
Oh boy. So there's always possibility. Well, it's like I always
really
laugh
stop
when you see. I will. When you see consumer products and you think of characters you've played like Winnie the Pooh, the amount of consumer products that go out to there because people want to take you home.
Yeah,
they want to have you there at home and talk to you every night and stuff. Which that would be another moneymaker for you. You could actually call up and have you go to people's houses.
Well, that's true. Knock a few bucks there. I remember it was Vanity Fair, Esquire magazine. Anyway, they gave out the Dubious Achievements of the Year award, and I did a long time ago. Got to be 20, 25 years ago. They did a talking dog. There was the Teddy Ruxpin, if you remember. There was,
absolutely.
Well, there was a Mother Goose one that I did. Well, this one was Pooh, and and you bought. And Pooh would tell a happy birthday story. He would tell a Merry Christmas story. He would say, Happy Hanukkah, whatever, Halloween.
Very sweet.
And you would tell a story, and you would download your child's name. And there were so we did the show. We did the stories really quickly, and then we started on the names.
Oh dear.
Can I tell you how many names there are on Earth
that are difficult and from a variety of ethnic origins?
Yes, and we started on the A's, and we're going through, and the lady told me, she goes, she said, and here are the A's. And
You've got to be kidding.
No, I really wish I was, but and I said, okay, well, I'm charging more, and so she said, just give me 3 in a row of each, and I said, 3 in a row? I know what let's do, not that. How about 1?
Yeah.
And if it stinks, make a note. We'll get it at the end of the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so we did it, and we scratched and sniffed our way through this thing. And at the end of it, and it was 6 months, honest to God, actual 6 months.
And they recorded like every name on the planet?
Every single name. Now, which do you think is the name, the letter that has the most names?
It would have to be like John or Peter or
So
Sally
JSP,
or something like that.
It's D.
D.
I'm pretty sure it was D, because the Sean, the Shikwa, the Shabuzi, the Meshuggah, and just on down with the D's and the D's and the D, on and on and on and on and on.
Hilarious.
And it was the only time I ever went home and the phone rang and I went, hello. And sorry, but I've been pooing all day, which is a hazard. And not everybody gets to make that statement.
Once you hit 40.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
And sure enough, the punchline was that Esquire magazine gave it the Dubious Achievement of the Year award because they called it My Interactive Poo.
That's beautiful. But there was a book called, and you remember, Cooking with Pooh.
Oh, well, yeah. And another one, Everything Poop. Everyone poops. But it was with the P on the end, so I was off the hook.
Everyone poops. I think I
was
own
off
that.
the hook.
Yeah. Has anyone asked you to do kind of a Siri version of or traffic directions and things with Pooh?
No.
I mean, I would buy that.
Yeah.
I think you can get like Sam Jackson or something like that doing your Google Maps.
There was somebody at a convention that actually just brought back a memory. There was somebody at a convention, and I think with Waze,
yes.
you can program your own. So they had asked Jim to do, like, it was like one of the handlers, one of the handlers at a convention, and she had the directions. So it'd be like, turn left. And
this has to be like Disney and Google Maps or Apple Maps, and you have to just do directions for people.
Yeah. Turn left, dumbass. Stuff like that.
Maybe clean it up a bit. But
is there how does that work with like? Because you own your voice, but like, is that
you'd have to
infringing on like a Disney property?
Well, you would want to really do Pooh, and so you'd want to license Pooh, have the company license Pooh, and then pay you a hearty fee to do.
Because like, I know Snoop Dogg's done that. Seth Rogen's done that.
Totally. So you can dial them in. So I think it's time. Yeah. It's really why we've done this podcast.
That's right.
Arrive at money making schemes.
That's right.
Which I'm good at. I'm a producer, for God's sake.
Let's write that down.
Yeah. Traffic direction. I think a lot of your listeners actually would love that.
Yeah.
And we can start a letter writing campaign if you want.
Tale as old as time. Yep. That's right. Man, oh man, oh man.
Well, I can see that. I can see you doing
I could
so
see
many
that
things.
too.
Yeah.
I could see it. I'll meet you at the bank.
I'm not going to be there. I'll be in jail.
Okay.
But other voices you could do, angry voices, villains. There's so many in your kit of parts. It would be funny. You could do a Disney villains thing with other collaborators, and that would be traffic directions. Would be hilarious.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, Pete was technically the oldest villain because he started off a villain.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at least provided friction.
Great character.
Yeah.
Great character.
It was great that because when we were doing Goof Troop, there, as you know, as a storyteller, you have to have a hero, and you have to. If a hero's not a hero without a villain, you got to have a villain.
Yeah.
Peter Pan was cool, but only because he could beat the hell out of Captain Hook.
And as an animator, there were fights over who would get to do the villain. It's like Milt
really?
Kahl did a lot of Peter Pan character animation. And he was terribly jealous of Frank Thomas, who did Captain Hook.
Oh,
because that was the character to do.
Yeah.
But Frank knew how to play piano, and he knew how to do all that great. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, man, if you could do Cruella de Vil or Ursula or whatever, you were Scar, all those characters are so great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
The heroes, it's tough.
Yeah. That's true, huh? Because they're, villains are sneaking around doing all kind of cool stuff.
In the 50s, they were kind of wooden, and they had to be drawn beautifully. So somebody like Milt Kahl, who could draw amazingly well, would get a lot of those kind of the prince. And, yeah. But you really want to do, Maleficent or something like that.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Man, oh man. Amazing.
It's crazy, I know.
Well, I'm so glad that you were able to do this.
Yeah, me too. I've been looking forward to it, and it does not disappoint. I'm just going to say that out loud. Yeah, it's good to see you. I've always been a fan. You know that.
Well, same here.
I always call you up like I did not too long ago to perform for Richard Sherman's life celebration.
And I thought that was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, we got Feinstein to do the musical direction, and you and a cast of thousands.
Yeah.
Jody Benson, so many great talents that night.
Yeah, Jody, she had 2 or 3 songs, I think. Didn't she?
What's the deal with her? She's evergreen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, she's a doll.
She's a doll. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they all are.
And I remember we were doing a thing for, it was the last iteration of Little Mermaid that came out. The third one. And I got to be her dad on that one. And she came out on the stage. What's the... It's on, not Balboa Island, Catalina Island.
Yes.
It was out there, and it was at that big classic old theater.
Yeah.
And Jody walks out on stage, and she was getting ready to sing, and you hear this little 4-year-old voice. She goes, "Mommy, it's Ariel."
Aww.
Yeah, and she goes, "Yes, I am Ariel." And it was just so sweet. It was one of those things, you get kind of goosebumpy.
She sang on Broadway just 2 nights ago because it was Howard Ashman's 75th birthday.
Oh, my gosh.
2 nights ago. And also the 4,000th performance of Aladdin. So at the end of Aladdin,
wow,
she came out and sang Part of Your World. And the cast of Little Shop of Horrors came out and sung a Howard Ashman song. And the new Belle and the Beast from the Broadway touring company of Beauty and the Beast that they just announced came out and sang Tale as Old as Time. And then the curtain went up and Alan Menken was there.
Wow.
And it was all unannounced. It was all just like, hey, let's celebrate Howard. And so, yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
What a crazy world we live in.
Yeah. I remember something similar to that when Elton John rose up at the El Capitan from beneath the stage.
Yep.
With that big, gorgeous piano and is singing his little guts out, being Elton John. And I mean, how cool was that? It's like,
it's
did you
amazing.
work with him? I mean, did you ever? Yeah. I mean, you hung out with him.
Yeah, nice
I would
guy.
think, right?
Yeah. I mean, so a lot of people of that caliber are the sharpest knife in the drawer, and he is. He's so smart.
Oh yeah.
And he would know his record sales in Ecuador and Brazil, and so, like he knew all that.
No kidding.
His ego was in check pretty much, and he would say, if a song's not working, let me know. So the first version of Circle of Life wasn't working. It was very popcorny, bubblegummy, I should say. And so instead of fixing it, he would say, I'll just write something new. Wow. So he did. He was recording an album in Paris, and we gave him the notes, Rob and Roger did, and then he went away during lunch while everybody else was making cheese sandwiches. He said, I got to do this song. And Tim Rice was there, so he wrote Circle of Life. And he called it the cheese sandwich song for a long time. And that became Circle of Life on in the movie.
The cheese sandwich song.
Yes. So Fast, another guy who's really gifted, always needs the lyrics. So whether it's Tim Rice, Bernie Taupin, whatever, he really works off the rhythmic quality of the words, has that thing about his writing, the Hakuna Matata thing where the earbug gets in there and you just go, I'm going to sing that the rest of the day. But
yeah, he's got that ability.
Yeah, intense guy, but smart, nice, generous as the day is long in terms of his work for AIDS victims during the AIDS crisis. Still,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can't say enough about him.
Yeah.
You know, it's very rare to have a rock star of his caliber that has been able to last that long. There's a few. There's the Paul McCartney types.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say it's really kind of like him, Paul McCartney, optional Sting.
Great optional Sting, but great musician.
Yeah.
Oh my God, to sit there and watch him play piano in person, these little stubby fingers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elton, but powerful, and you can tell he just grew up with that instrument. So that's great. Yeah, Sting, different, very different personality, but all of the same characteristics. Very introverted, empathic kind of guy. But we're lucky to work with a lot of really interesting
Well, your
people.
top 3 Elton John songs.
Wow, Candle in the Wind, Tiny Dancer, maybe. Maybe, kind of a Rocket Man kind of thing, something like that. Certainly for the I could say, "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" because we tried to cut it out of the movie, but we didn't, and it won the Oscar for Best Song that year. So
Tiny Dancer is one of mine. And
isn't it funny? It really is.
Yeah, Tiny Dancer, Blue Jean Baby, L.A. Lady,
Elton John.
and what was the and Where To Now, St. Peter? People don't.
Wow,
people
that's a rare
don't.
one.
Yeah. People don't, they go, what?
How does that go?
I took myself a blue canoe and I floated like a leaf.
Wow.
And it's just, and it's one of those songs that lilts its way into your head. And, but not a real strong hook, but now you're going to go home and listen to it. And
Totally.
It's going to infest you. And,
Yeah, he's got the gift.
Yeah,
it really is. You point to a few people and say, "Oh yeah, they've got it, whatever it is," and he's one of them.
Yeah, well, he's Beatlesque in that regard.
Yeah.
Who and I imagine it was he came cheaply too, right? To write the music. He probably pulled a few nickels on that.
I don't remember if we paid him or not. I think we did.
You think we did?
But he was.
Oh my God.
Okay, so he had never written a musical before. Never. Like, why would you think he could?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Tim Rice was on the movie first. Tim had finished up for Howard Ashman on Aladdin, so A Whole New World and that kind of stuff. And then Tim was thinking, what do I do next? And there was this lion story, King of the Jungle, knocking around. And it was kind of sitting there. And so Tim said, well, let me play with that a little bit. And Tim wanted to use ABBA as the musical group for Lion King. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah, so ABBA, because he had worked with...
I'm glad they were busy. No offense.
We love ABBA.
We love ABBA.
Say that out loud for all the ABBA fans.
That's right. And
he had worked with ABBA and did Chess in the West End of London. So he had worked with them and loved them. And they're great guys and girls. They were busy. And so he said, what about Elton John? And we were looking at Ladysmith Black Mambazo. We were looking at...
okay. I can see that.
Indigenous, genuine South African musical groups.
Sure, yeah.
But so
not a ton of them to choose from.
No, but it was a style, and he said, "What about Elton John?" And we thought it was a bad idea. We really did, because we thought he hasn't done a musical. The only thing in his favor is he's a great songwriter. But Tim said, I've done musicals. He's a storyteller. I know what to do. And we had great directors. Rob and Roger are great directors.
Oh, God.
And Elton was a great collaborator. He never turned us down on changes. He never turned us down on wanting things. And he would push back. We did try to cut Can You Feel the Love Tonight out of the show. And we showed it to him without the song in. And he turned bright red. And he said, one of the main reasons I did Lion King was to write a love ballad. And we said, but Elton, it's not a love story. It's about a father and a son.
Oh, wow.
And he said, yeah, but if Nala didn't come back and go to the wilderness and push Simba into returning to the Pride Lands and taking his place, this movie wouldn't have happened. It's Nala, the one that's the catalyst. She's the match in the gasoline tank that gets him going back to the Pride Lands. And you need this song to bond them, or it's not going to happen. And he was right.
Wow.
So he was arguing not for his ego that he needed a ballad to get an Oscar or something.
Yeah.
That turned out to be the case, but he had a story reason and was very articulate about it. Very, very articulate about it.
Well, and he was right.
That's a fascinating story.
Yeah. So we used to have Puma and Timon sing it. I can see what's happening. The great.
Oh yeah.
And
can you feel the love tonight?
thank you, Pumbaa.
Couldn't have been. Yeah, that might have been a little.
Yeah, it was mocking the great Disney love songs, and that would have been okay. And we kept that a little bit in the introduction of the song. Timon sings a bit of it, but yeah, Elton, articulate, smart.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, Timon and Pumbaa do have a couple lines in that song still.
I can see what's happening.
Yeah.
And at the end, he comes back and says,
Trios down tattoo.
yeah, that's the closing line.
Yeah,
You've seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah, it rings a bell.
Yeah.
Boy, does it ring a bell.
Can't say enough about those guys. Sting the same way. Just thoughtful, complicated people. But so is everybody in the entertainment business. So are all my animators. So are the directors I worked with. Complicated people. But man, I feel lucky to work with them.
Yeah. Who was the biggest a-hole? Just kidding.
Well, aside from yourself, I feel like
outside present company not accepted.
That's what people talk about. No, what's funny? The really big step up stars, I almost have never had a problem with.
Right, I agree.
Whoopi Goldberg, Angela Lansbury. I mean, we did like Maleficent with Angelina Jolie. Complicated. Oh my God. But boy, does she know herself, and she knows what the camera loves about her, and she knows what she can do and can't do. So demanding, yes, but thank God she is, because she has to make her character work.
She gets it done.
And she loved that character, and she loved that movie into existence. It wasn't a job for her. She loved it.
Oh my gosh.
And so you want to support her and give her what she needs.
Yeah.
So complicated and yes, but the real asses, and I say this with respect, tend to be the junior people in the industry.
You're right about that. Unbelievable. Yeah.
It's funny because even like in the process of the last 2 years of doing this podcast, we've noticed that. Like it's like almost, we've had like a few like A-listers, and it's like when we ask them, it's like, yeah, no problem. And it's kind of like the people like in the middle who've like feel the need to like prove themselves. Like I'm a big star.
It's that.
Where it's like tougher, where it's like they'll give or they'll say to your face, and then like you get back in touch with their team and it's radio silence, for...
Yes. It's the insecurity of it all.
It is. Yeah. It is. Because everybo's, trying to get on something bigger and bigger and bigger, everybody wants to be on Joe Rogan, it's
bigger, better.
Not me.
Who? I've heard of him.
Whatever. This is perfect for me. I have to say, you guys, I'm really glad you asked me.
Thank you very much for being here.
No, we're really glad we asked you.
Really good conversation.
I'm really glad you said yes.
I think I said no, but I came anyway. But no, it's fun. I love you guys, and I love just kind of sharing our experiences, because we were lucky boys, and to be able to just talk about some of the work, and that is great.
Yeah. Well, luck is so true. I mean, there for the grace of God, I would have been. And if I stayed in the steel mill, it closed 7 years after I left. So see, I'd have been out of work for like 30 years at this point.
Totally so. And you have to, but you were prepared. Like, what is that saying? Luck favors the prepared, or whatever.
Oh, fortune favors the bold.
Yeah, it's the same quote. And so you're able to step up when...
Like a good song.
When nature calls, you're able to step up and do what you're called to do.
That's true.
Is that a quote too?
Nature calls. It's
Jim Carrey movie.
It's called.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey movie.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'll close this out here.
There we go.
Please save us from ourselves. Please.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that episode. That was another episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris, joined as always by the legend Jim Cummings, and yet another legend, Don.
God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Please buy our hats and glasses in the lobby.
Thank you all for watching. We hope you noticed that we've been really making concerted effort to give you guys more content. We're uploading more shorts, more videos, all that good stuff. So if you like this content...
I was going to say, we're both wearing shorts today.
If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. And did you know that on YouTube, it's possible to see a video and then never be recommended it again? I know, it's sad. So please like and subscribe to make sure that doesn't happen. And if you like this content so much that you want to see more of it, guess what? You're in for some good news. There's more on Patreon. That's right. Patreon Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. Yes, there's additional content.
You're on fire.
additional content, bonus interviews that you don't get to see anywhere else. We do contests, giveaways, all that good stuff. So be sure to check us out there. If you want some merchandise, Shopify, Jim Cummings Closet. You can get t-shirts, keychains, a whole bunch of other good stuff. And we got a lot of good episodes coming up for you. I mean, we have...
We sure do.
Not necessarily this
Here's
one, by the way.
now.
Yeah.
Here's
to
one
look
now.
forward to. Look forward to. This one was great.
Yes.
But we had a whole bunch of good ones coming out. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, Don Hahn, thank you again. So
My
nice
pleasure.
to meet you.
Thanks for asking me. It's great to be here.
Jim, great to be here as always with you. I'm producer Chris. We'll see you in the next one.
Click.
Thanks
1,000 times.
Yes, thank you very much.
It was just fun talking to you. It's great. Appreciate it.
Me too.